we spend a great deal of time in the boardroom and on the execution tables around how can we use AI to our advantage to enhance the folks we have, but to get rid of much of the mundane, speed the process, deliver quickly, personalize our experiences for our members, all those things that AI can help you to do. And I agree with John's assessment that there's a lot of value in it now. There's far more to come, but it's just getting back to, okay, can you afford to implement it? How best to prioritize what you want to do with it? Those are the kind of questions we have with that. Cyber is a different beast. So, we sit in the chair of it's not if, but when.
Is it worse now than it was last year or the year ago?
I would say that there's far more visibility into what's happening when people are being breached. I don't know that the attacks that we're seeing and others are seeing is any less, but certainly the fraudsters are getting far more advanced, and AI is contributing to their part of that as well. So AI is a plus on some ways and a deficiency on the others. But so we just started a credit union cyber security consortium with a number of other like-sized credit unions in the Southeast to just begin to say, all right, let's get to the table and start sharing ideas. What are your experiences? What are you seeing? What have you found successful with regards to partners or techniques and other things like that? And then our hope would probably be to see that morph into our ability to then provide support to smaller financial institutions that don't have the funds. Many of them struggle to even get cyber insurance because they don't have all the the particulars checkboxed and capabilities. So we're hoping that leads to something a little larger in the industry and begins to help others combat cybersecurity.
Mr. Hood.
So I asked you about federal legislation about the potentially taxing credit union incomes, but there's also state legislation that would expand opportunities for people to go into credit unions. In North Carolina, there's a bill. I think it has to do with if you live in a banking desert,
financial deserts, that's right.
That sort of thing. So is it appropriate to start expanding who can belong to a credit union away from the original nexus that it had?
So Truliant was actually at the crux of when they changed the Credit Union Act and opened up field of memberships. And so, we believe that of our communities, there's a certain segment of those folks that are prone to find value in what credit unions offer. And so giving those folks access to that, whatever community it might be, and or whoever they might be affiliated with from a work perspective and stuff, makes sense to me to do that. And of course, if they're in communities where they're limited in their options, I think we ought to give them as many options as we can. So I understand that competition's competition. Between us and the banks, and it's all fair. And having been a banker, there's a lot of friends on that side. I think they do a great job. The country, our communities need both, in my opinion. But I do think that credit unions are starting to resemble, as I grew up, the community banks of that time. And I think we're starting to feel some of that, and it would kind of speak to the same thing, that would we go to these smaller rural communities that some other institutions can't create enough value to remain in physically, and might we fill that void?